Weyoun finds interspecies mating rituals fascinating to watch. General Martok's filthy, mangy targ had the heart of a warrior in his bony breast. And Legate Damar drinks to Weyoun 7. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. Today we're doing a review of Deep Space Nine, episode 19 of season 7, Strange Bedfellows, written by Ronald D. Moore, directed by René Auberjonois. This was April 21st, 1999. We have a very special guest today. The man, the myth, the legend, Legate Damar, leader of the Cardassian Union himself, Mr. Casey BIGGS is here. There he is.
Yeah.
I think you missed your intro for a second there, Casey. I hope you heard it.
You guys froze up on me a little bit, but I said hello. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Cirroc, we have been waiting.
Yes.
6.5 seasons to talk with Casey, and he's finally here to join us. We couldn't be happier. We couldn't be more excited. We've been singing your praises for so long. It's about time you actually got to hear it. How are you?
Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely. I've obviously I love you as a person, and I'm a fan of you as Casey BIGGS, but getting to know you as Damar in this show has been a real pleasure to watch your performances and the layers that you put into this character, the way you have so much subtext to your eyes, and what you say is usually the opposite of what you feel. Mm-hmm. And I love to watch you portray this character, the relationship between you and Weyoun, the dynamic with Marco Limo and as Gul Dukat. I just think it's just a very fantastic job that you've done throughout the show. Casey, I want to start there and just give you kudos for how amazing I think your performances have been on this show, and particularly in these later seasons as your role has grown and expanded.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, appreciate that, Cirroc. Ditto with you as well. And the fascinating thing about this character is that they had no idea. I mean, Hans Beimler basically created the character, I guess, because he told me he gets money every time I'm on screen. So, they had no idea that this character was going to have that kind of an arc to it, and thank goodness it did, because they could have killed me off any time, any given moment. How many I killed Dukat's daughter. They could have killed me for that. And Dukat just said, well, she deserved it, and they moved on. But it gave an amazing arc to be able to play. I started out as Dukat's lackey, and then ended up the leader of the empire, and then died a hero, and you can't ask for anything better than that.
Mm-hmm. I also see it like this. What makes you so relatable or just really interesting to watch is that you have these you showed this vulnerability. You also showed this desire to move up the ladder in life, which people can relate to in life. They want to move up and be more successful. There's aspects of that I think you portray very well. But you also have this conflicted kind of these demons inside that you really bring to the surface in these later episodes, where you're looking yourself in the mirror and you show that you have this conflict inside of you. I love that aspect of your performance.
Yeah, that was great. And I was so happy to do that, because finally I could stop drinking that horrible Canar. It was just...
What was that, like maple syrup? What was in there?
It started out as Caro syrup. And then they got very excited the last season and said, we changed it because I know you didn't like it. I said, what is it? And they said, sugar-free maple syrup. I said, it's just horrible. But it's funny. I watched these past couple episodes you're talking about just a couple of days ago, because I don't think I'd seen them since they aired. And I have to say, I came away disappointingly almost thinking how good Jeff Combs is. Like, terrific.
Man. He is good.
It's not disappointing. It's fantastic, and it's not just Jeff Combs. It's Mark Alimo. It's you.
Yeah.
Everybody's bringing so much to the table. And what makes it good is the conflict there. I mean, Deep Space Nine really gives you a lot of conflict. Everybody hates each other. Everybody's in it for themselves or for a different kind of reason, and that's the motivation behind everybody's reasoning is what makes it so interesting. And I mean, Damar is such he's easy to read, but he's also smart enough to stay alive and not overplay his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a patriot. He's a complex character, and when they finally started, allowing me to do some stuff, which was great, it just when I decided.
Yeah,
Damn,
I think we lost it a little bit.
He's saying something so good right now too.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that, Casey? Sorry about
we
that.
Lost you when you decided. We lost you right there.
What did I say? How wonderful it was? What? No, I just said that the arc of the character was so great when they finally allowed me to really play some stuff and become a rebel and stop drinking that stuff and find my, find the soul of the guy again. And he decided it doesn't matter. I'm going to fight for the Cardassians, and it was so interesting. One of the I think season 6 or 5 or something. I got a big job in New York. I was doing a Broadway show, and I was so excited about it. And I went to told the producers, and I said, "Hey guys, it's great. I'm going to be doing a show at Lincoln Center." And they said, "What? You're booked for 16 episodes here." I said, "You didn't tell me." Cirroc. I mean, you were regular. As far as I know, as far as we know, you're done after that one episode. Or you want me another? They didn't tell me they'd written me in for that whole arc. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing is, they could have redid the whole thing. They flew me back on my days off in order to shoot. And so much of those, when you see those scenes of Jeff and I just in front of those screens, because I had to fly in on Monday, shoot everything on a Monday, and then fly back to New York to do the show again. So I was pretty flattered that they actually did that.
Yeah.
They could have done anything, they could have rewritten. I mean, it's like with Jeff's character, they killed him off, Weyoun, and they said, "What the hell did we do that for? We like the guy." And they said, "Hey, it's outer space. We have a clone planet now. We can keep cloning." So, okay.
Clone planet. Well, that's the thing. When you do such a great job, they start thinking, they start making big plans for you and your character. They just want you to come back. They want to expand your role as an actor and as a character.
Well, that's, that I did a scene in the bar, Quark's bar, early on. Mm-hmm. And it was really good scene, a great scene. I think that's when they decided, okay, we're going to turn him into a drunk, into an alcoholic. So every scene practically you saw me and I was thinking at some point, until that scene that Renee, directed in this thing where I just got fed up with it and I got to throw it at the mirror and never have to drink again.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that was great.
And that's another thing that I think people relate to is just that small little aspect of alcoholism or being addicted to something and kind of battling those demons. That was kind of another layer to the character that I felt. Weyoun used to take a lot of digs at you for, I see it's you're having your breakfast or something. He would just make little. He would make those digs, but there's a lot of people struggling with that, with addiction and with alcoholism, and they do have to battle those demons, and they feel those kinds of ways about being ashamed and wanting to break the addiction. I really felt like you portrayed that accurately for the people out there that are dealing with that.
Yeah, because I think the character was so distraught by what he felt that the compromise he felt he had to do to stay with the founders and all those people and all that, and was never happy. What I liked about the last 2 episodes that you guys asked me to watch, you could really see, I got a real chance to chart that change, because then I had a couple of Cardassian guys coming in there, and we were starting to plan and plot our way out of this thing. And then I think the one coming up too is that I call it which is actually where Avery directed it, where I call my Henry V speech, where Damar comes out of hiding and finally says, we're gonna win the day or whatever like that. What a great opportunity to do a speech like that. I mean, come on, Deep Space Nine it's all about melodrama, life and death and life and death and life and death and life and death. That's why it's so Shakespearean, because it's all about melodrama.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And really, I think our cast, Cirroc, what I loved about it, these were real actors in this thing. These are people who, you can't say that kind of gobbledygook and make it sound like it's authentic unless you have had some training and all that kind of stuff. So it was really fun it was like a candy store with these people. And all of these great different personas, Avery and you and Penny and
I got stuck thinking about Candy Store too.
But I think you're 100% right. You think of Armin and Renee and JG and all these guys that just have so much. O'Reilly. These guys just have so much presence and understanding of the craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about a candy store, Casey, and it was also a candy store for us fans. I mean, it was like heaven watching so many great actors portray such layered characters. Like you all got, a T-bone steak as an actor with which to work. It wasn't just like, the guy that pushes the buttons or the person that's always angry or the person that's always crying.
Yeah, a lot of levels. Yeah.
It was like
I was reminded too in the second one, the Changing Face of Evil, I guess, which you're going to talk about later on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd forgotten that whole Alamo storyline. And, I don't know if Cirroc, about that whole thing. The reason I got this job was because of the Alamo.
Oh, right.
Well, we do know that Ira has a fascination with the Alamo. We did get that disclosed to us through several sources and confirmed by Ira himself.
Yes, that's right. Just recently.
I did the very first dramatic IMAX film they ever shot, which was called The Price of Freedom, which was about the Alamo, the fall of the Alamo. And I played the hero. I played, what's his name? William Barrett Travis. Now, the funny thing is, when I went and did the audition for DS9, I didn't know anything about it. And I went there and I've told this story many times, but I find it's a fascinating story that, you go in there, as in the audition, there's, 25 guys all in the room and they take you in one by one and there's 12 people sitting there watching you. And the audition was 5 words. I mean, that was it. The 5 words were, "They're in range, sir, fire." How the hell can you tell anybody? So I went in there and I said, "Well,
you nailed it, though."
Huh?
You nailed those 5 words, though, man.
Well, I did it because they said, "Boy, that was really terrific." And I'm thinking, who are these people? So anyway, I go home and I get a call. By the time I got home, they said, "Oh, they loved you. They want to see you the next day." So I went in the next day, and instead of 25 guys, there were 5 guys. And I went and did the same thing. "They're in range, sir, fire." Oh, that's such a wonderful reading. I'm thinking, what the hell? But little did I know that Ira had seen my Alamo movie in San Antonio, because that's the only place it was playing in the IMAX. And so that's basically, I had the job when I walked in the door because of the Alamo.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is, later on, I got to take Ira and a couple of his buddies, Moore, and they have what they call the High Holy Days in Texas, where it was the fall of the Alamo, March 6th, around March 6th and 10th. Well, I'm sort of like a celebrity there because I played William Barrett Travis. And so I got to take Ira and all those guys, and I got him in the real Alamo. We went to the place where we shot it, which is where John Wayne shot his version of the Alamo. Had a great time there. And then we went back for all of the ceremonies. And I spoke at the ceremony, and they only let the descendants of the people who died in the Alamo in the Alamo church itself for the thing that they did there. So I actually read Travis's letter that he wrote out for help. And he says, victory or death and all this kind of stuff. But then I got to take Ira and all those guys back in the museum part, and William Baird Travis had a ring that he gave to a little girl and said to the little girl's mother, "If I do not survive, will you please get this to my son, this ring to my son?" And so we got there, and I got, Ira got to put the ring on, and it was like Elvis was in the building, man, with that whole Alamo stuff. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the point being is that you never know why and how you get a job. You just never know how you do it.
Especially with somebody like Ira, because I think he revealed to us about, did we just have the Section 31 actor?
William Sadler.
William Sadler.
Yeah.
We had William Sadler on, and Ira said he hired him because of movie Tales from the Crypt that he did. He said, "Oh, I loved that he was in Tales of the Crypt, and I saw that, and he was awesome, so I hired him for that." And Sadler didn't know that till this day, until we talked to him, that was the reason why he had gotten hired. You know why you got hired, because of the Alamo, and again, Ira mentioned that what he loved about the Alamo was the idea of insurmountable odds. I think he mentioned that in the discussion we had, that he likes stories about insurmountable odds, where it's just like, fight for your survival, essentially. And
Bill Sadler and I, there was a TV movie about the Great Wallendas. Remember the Great Wallendas were High Wire Act? Mm-hmm. Well, yes. Sadler and I both played members of the High Wire Act, and that's why I first met Sadler, because the film was about, they were doing a show in Detroit, and the 7-man pyramid, very famous thing, and they fell. A couple of them died. One got paralyzed and all that. And that's what the story basically is about. And that's Bill Sadler and I met on that 100 years ago.
But they were all family, right? Those yes, mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were still still around too. They're still around somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's great that you never know where things lead to, and that those 5 lines led to a story arc. It led
5 years on a show.
Yeah, I mean, so it's you never know how things work out. I think that's a remarkable thing. But I always wonder where you get inspiration from for certain things, because I know that you're just a nice, charming guy. I kind of think of you as the most interesting man alive type of guy, like the Dos Equis guy.
Yeah, it's like the Paso wine man, right?
Yes, the most interesting Paso wine man. Yeah.
Yes, this is who that's what you radiate in your personality. So it's really kind of, I like to see when you are able to emanate this era of really kind of evilness or unforgiving. You have this ability to really come across as if you're cold-hearted, cold-blooded killer, and I wonder where do you draw from that when you're performing?
Well, it always has to start on the page, right? I thought the second episode I ever did of DS9 was when all of I don't know if you remember that one. All of them were all dressed up like Klingons. Avery.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Then Mark Alamo and Ducat and I are taking him on our ship to take him someplace, And I remember that I had to go do some looping because they said I didn't sound Cardassian enough, and I thought, what the hell does that mean? That doesn't sound Cardassian enough. What is it? So in the end, you sort of fall back and think, well, this is a military regime, right? These people are the military. So that's where you start with that thing about being of service to something and someone. And then that's why I killed Ducat's daughter. She was a traitor, She, at least in Damar's estimation, she was a traitor. And the cool thing is that the writers allowed me to develop and progress into a much more multi-layered persona. I mean, it's like in the episode you're talking about here now. How fabulous! Isn't that where I had that line? I said, "Well, to Worf, I said, you should have killed me. There's only one Damar."
Oh, yes. God!
What a great line that
Oh,
is.
you had a lot of great lines. You had another one where you said something about, oh, why don't you go talk to Worf again? Or something like that.
Go talk to Worf again.
With the laugh.
And the other one I said too, I better be careful. I'll be talking to Wayu number 9.
Yes.
I love that line too. I mean, but the one was the classic, was the one that you mentioned, like right off top. I said, this deserves to be on a T-shirt. You should have killed me. There's only one Damar.
Yep.
That was just as classic as it gets, as far as just, and the joy in your face when he kills Wayoon in front of you. You gave me the feeling like, oh God, finally somebody did it. And I'm so glad I got to witness that firsthand. Yeah. And then you turn right back into, but be prepared to go on trial, and
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think knowing that I was going to let him go anyway,
Right.
Remember, I let him go, and I, shot.
Part of that, part of that was for the other guys around you, right?
Yeah.
For their benefit, so they hear that and say, okay, he's still on the team.
I mean, how fun is that to play? You got to play different levels because you're playing 17 different sides against the center.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He's 100% right.
Yeah.
The other line, I don't know if you can hear us, if you're with us.
I was watching the episode, and the guy, it's my scene, but there's some Jem Hadar behind me. You actually can see the milk going into their neck.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Wow, I never noticed that before. That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's when you look back, like, I don't think I'll talk right now. This is not the moment, and that shows Damar's wisdom. He knows when to pull back. He knows when to pull back and lay off the gas. He'll press.
He can play the game.
He'll press it for. Yeah, he'll press it. He'll get under Wayoon's skin up until the moment where he knows Wayoon is like, oh, I will kill you. I mean, if there's a problem. And then Damar pulls back, like, okay, yeah, I know.
He's got to work it. Yeah, he's got to work it.
Yes.
And I think, I think he knew somewhere. I think I knew somewhere in there that I would not survive this whole thing. That I would have to sacrifice myself for.
Well, but you don't know. That's the beauty of it. It's the cat and mouse. I don't know what Damar. I'm watching this thing. I didn't know that this was going to happen in this episode. I didn't know that you were going to. I knew that you were going to be pissed at some point, because I felt like you were a boiling kettle waiting. Wayoon was just boiling up under you, and you were just waiting to blow the top. That I got a good sense of. As far as where your allegiance lies, I thought your allegiance lies really towards Cardassia and even Dukat.
Yeah, Dukat sort of went off the rails there, didn't he? And that thing suddenly shows up as a Jordan. What the hell's up with that?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he did.
That's
he drink
a whole
something?
other thing.
How the hell did that happen? I did not. I don't think I saw the episode where he all of a sudden transformed into a Bajoran or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you hook him up with the surgery. He comes to you and says he wants to go through the surgery, and then
he famously, Damar famously says, "I only hope that the doctor's as good at returning you back to what you look like originally."
Oh, goodness.
In other words, he didn't much care for the way he looked.
Yes.
We are going to hit our break in just a second here, but just one final thought on the auditioning process, Casey, because it kind of made me think. Do you think that when they auditioned you, they already had an idea that your character would grow beyond that?
No. Hans told me, he said, we had no idea that we were going to take this tack with this character. Because what they did is they were watching me in the scenes and all that. And, sir, because, they could just fire you in a heartbeat. Yeah. And they liked what I was doing. And they decided, we can take the storyline this way. Let Dukat go off the rails over there and make Damar the guy who wants to save his people, Right. And I love it in the second episode I guess the Face of Evil thing. I totally forgot that when Avery says at the end of the episode, he says, Damar may be our only savior for the Alpha Quadrant. I said, I get chills thinking about that.
Yeah.
That means I got a few more episodes left.
Well, they all only have a few more left, but that's good stuff. Well, let's take our break super quick. And stick around, everybody. We will be right back on the 7th rule.